Oh yeah. Shalom Yahweh Shemyaw Shabarakatah. Shalom Yahweh Shemaratah Bashim Yahushai. And Shalom Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Hall, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. Today's class, the title of the class is It Is Time. I don't know if you know, man, but hey, it's getting real close to being about that time. What I mean by that is, I simply mean that it's almost time for Blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians to be free. It's about time that, our salvation is coming forever more near. And trust me, it's here. That being said, it's some things that you must know in these times. It ain't going to be all peaches and cream. It ain't going to be all, such a good time, And you would have never known that if it had not been for the I.S.U.P.K and commanding General YAHANNA, the men that the Lord sends out to wake up his people. Because just as much as we love the Lord, he loves his people as well. And guess what? We love our people as well, because we are not selfish. You see, with these Christian pastors and these Christian churches, they are selfish. I know y'all been hearing about this whole thing with T.D. Jakes, right? He's selfish. He's not selfless. And how do I know that he's selfish? Well, for one, we all know the number one thing that the entire Christian church cares about is their dollar, is their money. And T.D. Jakes a long time ago, about 1-2 years ago, gave up the church over to his daughter. Not because, he thinks his reign is coming to an end, as far as he's not able to go out there and preach, as he's so-called say anymore. No, it's all because so he can keep that money circulating within the family to create generational wealth. And last time I checked, they have a lot of money. Come on now, T.D. Jakes is one of the most well-renowned false prophets on the face of the earth. And everybody comes to, right? He's on all the talk shows. He's with Steve Harvey. He has, interviews. He's always somewhere in the limelight of social media, the internet, right? But that was all for the dollar. That's why he gave up the church. And how even more perfect timing that when he does do that, all these allegations come out upon him. Well, I think he might have known that if he was still in the limelight of doing that, it would have very well affected his congregation once these allegations have came out. Now, of course, he's addressed them. He said some very questionable and controversial things, as he would, and as we all expected, right? That's only if you know that these people that are put in position to edify the Bible are using the agenda of our oppressors. And with that being said, that these people have no good intention on what edifying us on what it means to truly be in the scriptures, what it truly means to be holy and set apart and serve God. And that's why the Lord sends out his prophets, as you see the men in the I.S.U.P.K. Now, this isn't a brag. This isn't a boast. But when you go and serve the Lord, you get anointed, thus saith the Lord, in the Lord's military, in the Lord's body. You are now what? Certified to go and edify the Bible, because you are anointed by the Lord. You actually have wisdom and understanding of these scriptures. And with that being said, our people don't. As it says in the scriptures, Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We have no knowledge. And another reason why we have no knowledge is because we reject the knowledge that the Most High God is trying to give us. Need I remind you, the Most High God does not have a personal conversation with you while you're asleep. No, the Most High God speaks through the prophets to speak to the rest of the nation. And what you're failing to do and failing to realize is that you have to open your ears and listen. Like it says in the scriptures, hearken into the words of the Most High God. And that's something that you're failing to do. You want to listen to everything else instead of God. You want to tune your ears in when they say, you know, the numbers for the lottery ticket. You want to tune your ears in when they say, you know, we finna have bring your own weed and bring your own beer. We finna have a party. You want to tune your ears in for that, or somebody give you some money. You know what I'm saying? You getting all this attention on social media. You tune your ears in for that, but you won't sit right here and listen to what God is talking about. You won't listen to God talk. God speaks through the prophets. And you're not listening, which means you're not listening to God. And that's why you're still on that path of confusion. You're on the path of, I don't know what to do. I need a sign. You have the signs. They're right here. I'll give you an example. The Most High God spoke through Noah. If you don't know that, God spoke through Noah to tell the people that the earth was going to flood. Around the time the earth flooded because of why? Interracial marriage, especially with our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, intermingling and having interracial marriages with these other nations God did not approve of. Noah went and told the people of the earth will flood. All the people with the interracial couples, brothers that had interest in these particular strange women, the hell was you talking about? And then one day, a raindrop hit their forehead, and all hell broke loose. They started to panic, and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And while that around the whole time before it was about to rain and the earth was about to flood, Noah was building an ark because he knew what was coming. My whole point is this. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we are telling you, before the fire and brimstone comes, you ought to seek protection, which means you ought to obey God. And with that being said, this is going to be far worse, but it's going to happen in the same fashion as in the time when Noah told the people of the earth that the earth was going to flood. We're telling you that World War III is coming, and it's imminent. It's happening. How long have we been saying this? Since 1969, Commanding General YAHANNA has been prophesying that World War III would come, as well as all the other generals and captains and priests in the I.S.U.P.K have been prophesying that World War III was going to come. Now, here we are in 2024, 2023 was when what? Probably even before then, it was already brewing up. But 2023, we heard the announcement when that whole Israel versus Hamas attack happened, right? And then the minister over there said, "This is World War III. I declare it." This is biblical prophecy. And not only that, in the scriptures, it says that it will go down in the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of Jehoshaphat is modern day Israel, southern Israel. Where did the attack happen? Where is Gaza located? Southern Israel, right there at the border, down there by I believe Egypt and whatnot. And then what? Israel has then the rest of the entire body of land. This is not fake. This is factual. And what we're telling you here now is what? Stuff is about to start heating up. You see, there's always a calm before the storm. Now, remember, we've seen all them news breaks over there with Israel and Hamas. It was going crazy. They had all these rallies and all these protests. You seen the Palestinians out there in New York. It was all over the world. People was gathering around by the millions saying to free Palestine. Am I not correct? We've seen this on every YouTube channel, every social media platform, and the entire news stations all across the earth. All across the earth. But guess what? They're not reporting on it as much right now. It's not people having an outbreak as of right now throughout all these other states and countries and continents. It's dying down. Why? Because there's a calm before the storm. You see, them maybe not pushing as much as of the information allows you to be content and comfortable, especially here in America. Us Americans, as they call us. Because you know, America is with the big bad wolf that bullies everybody. But it's calm right now. It's calm. And you're content. You think life's going back to normal. Just how you thought life is going back to normal ever since COVID. But guess what? It's not. Because it's getting calm. And then out of nowhere, they're going to come and boom, hit you with all they got. Then boom, come another wave, another wave, another wave. Then you'll have civil wars and world wars. And America will look like the Purge in a post-apocalyptic. I know everybody has watched all the Purges. And if you haven't, I suggest you go and watch the Purge and see if that don't correlate to America. Not even just like, you know, them sanctioning the purges a day, just all the violence that they commit. Does America not do that? Just how you're able to walk around freely with firearms and unalive people. You know, this stuff is real. Slovakia, right? The same with, is another movie I suggest that you should watch. 2 movies. Watch the Purge movies, all of them. You're gonna start to see a spirit of America. After that, watch this movie on Netflix called Don't Look Up. When I tell you that when you watch this movie and you look at it and look outside of your house and just think about the world, the society, correlate that movie with the entire world and see, don't it add up? Because we are in that time that they're going to look up after all this time that these people have been telling them that something was coming, but it's going to be too late because we tried to tell you to prepare before the destruction came. You didn't want to hear us. Now you're going to be sitting there with 12 of your family members at that big, long dinner table. Christ's going to come back. And there's nothing you can do because there was nothing you wanted to do. You didn't want to be saved. You were not saved right now. The scripture says to endure to the end. You ain't enduring to the end. You've given up right at the finish line. You not understand, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that we have a kingdom coming where we can rule underneath Christ that is far beyond that you can fathom with your own mind. I'm saying, think of the nicest stuff you can think of. And the only reason why you think of the nicest stuff that you can think of is because it's just based on a man's view, or like, you know, humans' view of what we can imagine. You know, Saudi Arabia with them nice big, you know, castles and mansions, and you know, we got Caucasian people and Asians and Hawaiians building these nice mansions here in America and all over. You see them nice houses, right? They worth millions of dollars. Imagine a kingdom being created by, you know, the intelligence of God, the intelligence of the angels. Imagine gold paved streets. Imagine a house the size of the Apple Corporation, and you have 2,000 bedrooms and you only sleep in one. Then below you was an entire football stadium size floor. Then I can't even begin to imagine how it would be. You get to get on a chariot and fly to Neptune, then go to Pluto. We don't know any other galaxies besides the galaxy that we're in, the Milky Way. I'm sure they got Snickers, Twits. Shit, they might got, you know, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't know hell. But you get to go somewhere else. Here. Take a chariot to go to Russia real quick. Go underneath the water in the ocean, go all the way down to the floor. Like, we talking about stuff that we cannot imagine, that we've never experienced. And we sitting here crying and dying for this kingdom? Nah, you tripping. Nah, you tripping, homie. You tripping. This right here, you got to leave this behind. This over with. And we're saying, you know what I'm saying? In with the new and out with the old. America old. The new coming in. And you know what the new is? The nation of Israel. That's the new. It's time we gird up our loins, brothers and sisters. Well, brothers and sisters, it's time. And brothers, we got to get our spirit right, because we have to endure to the end. It's going to get bad. And I'm telling you this now, right? I'm going to get my scripture. I don't want to jump the gun. We're going to get 1 John 5:3, right? And it reads, "For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous." If you woke up today, if you know, you're feeling some type of way, You know, you feel like that you're not righteous, you're not holy. Understandable. And the reason being is because our people are oppressed. The thing is, you don't understand how to fight that oppression. You don't understand how to fight those demons and fight that feeling. How do you fight it? Through God. Use God as a shield of armor. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Keep the high holy days. Go to the Passover. Go to the Feast of Purim and the Feast of Tabernacles. Attend these holy days and watch and see how God will look out for you. Love your brothers. Teach your brothers and sisters and the little ones about who they truly are in the scriptures. Go and feed the homeless and heal the sick. Go and do those things because that's what Christ did. And that's what he would have wanted us to do. And that's what he wants us to do. Have that message. Go and preach, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Because guess what? These commandments are not a hard thing to do, not a hard thing to achieve. Every day you can take that lighter and smoke that weed and light it up. Every day you can make sure that you go to your hair appointment, get your nails and your feet done. You make sure you got that Whataburger sandwich. You make sure you got that big bottle of Douce. You make sure you got everything that fulfills how you want your life to be. All the little things that you want. But what about God? We never wonder how God feels. Do we ever wonder how God feels? No, we don't. God gets treated like a neglected father. That's how he gets treated. God gets treated how sons treat their father when they're raised by a single mother. That's how God gets treated. God gets treated just like that. Because why? America puts that spirit, that same spirit that the single mother puts in to her kids. It makes us hate our father. It makes us not want to obey our father. Hence is why you grow up the way you grow up. You have the tendencies that you have, and you only care about yourself. And that's why that's a spirit that you must just get rid of. So like in one moment. All right, we back. Right? Now my next scripture, right? I'm going to this. The reason why I'm saying that is because why? So let's see what Peter said. This book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. When the priests and prophets and the I.S.U.P.K go out to the street corners, or whether we're teaching class, or whether we have a conversation with you on the street, in Walmart, an interview or anything, and you ask us a question, we answer it accordingly. They'll say, if the Lord, in the spirit of Christ, in the spirit of these scriptures, you ought to listen. You ought to listen. Once you listen, you what? You are obeying God. That's what you're doing. You're obeying God. Shalom on Christ. What's going on?
Shalom on Christ.
Right? Like, understand that. When you listen to us, and this is no brag or no boast on us, we just servants of the Most High God. So we're not saying that like we want all the recognition, or we some TD Jakes, or we just holier than thou. We the top dog. Nah. But we're just trying to help you and to edify you, to let you know that we want you to be saved, brother. We want you to be saved, sister, because a time is coming. I just said that, yeah, just because they're not reporting on the Hamas and Israel thing as of right now as consistent, or how big as they made it, and you haven't seen any protests and Palestinians out there fighting, does not mean that that's not still in their heart. Does not mean war is still not in their heart. Let me tell you something. We got Palestinians that stay here in America. You got Israelis that stay here in America. You know what makes it even crazier? Not just that. You got rednecks that love that Confederate flag that stay here in America. You got crooked cops that stay here in America. You got evil, wicked pastors. You got pedophiles and child molesters. We got all types of filth. But guess what? Y'all do their own thing. But guess what? In that day, you know what they all gonna do? Y'all gonna pick up a sword and take and indulge in the lust of unaliving people. And that's what you don't understand. Because everybody here in America, just based on the spirit that America pushes out, everybody wants to be serial killers. Everybody wants to have that urge to unalive somebody, take somebody's life, have somebody's life in their hands. And that's what you failing to realize. What we trying to tell you is that them same very people is the ones that you call your friends. Them same very people is the one that you hug in church when the pastor say, hug your neighbor, love your neighbor, turn to your neighbor and say, amen. These are the same people. And in that day, they're not going to be your friends. In that day, if he is a child molester, he's going to be a serial killing child molester, serial unaliving child molester, Salakia. He's going to be going your house, kick your door down, touch on your kids, and then trying to unalive you in front of kids. That's just the spirit of America, because it's coming. And that right there is going to be called the purge. And we trying to tell you, just like Noah did, a time is coming. You see, let me tell you something. With water, depending on the pressure of the water, it ain't gonna hurt you. You got a pressure washer, it can cut your arm in half, too much pressure. But around this time, a little raindrop hit your head, it ain't hurt you. But you were scared because you're like, dang, all this time Noah was saying this and it's raining now. Oh, shoot, we got to prepare. No, it's too late. Let me tell you something about this, though. This ain't water that's going to hit the earth this time. See, the Lord made a promise that he'll never flood the earth again. That's what that rainbow was for. And he got doggone alternative lifestyle jokers taking the God doggone Lord's promise and using it for a different alternative, disrespecting the Most High God. And that's why they got them things and curses that come upon them their lives. Getting AIDS and HIV and stuff like that. Because it says your blood will be upon your own hands. Oh, yeah. You dang right it is. But this right here ain't no water. You know what this is? Fire and brimstone. And last time I checked, if your mama say, don't touch that stove and you touch it and it's hot, you getting burned. Well, when an ICBM missile come over here, it ain't going to be no time for you to realize that you done messed up. You just going to see it come down and you over with. At least in the time of the flood, you had some time. You can float in the water a little bit and float to your death. This time is going to be instant. Rockets. Hamas going to pop out of Guess. Hamas going to pop out of Gucci. They're going to be hiding in Gucci. Pop out of Gucci. You're going to be in there. Hamas going to be up in there with a whole bunch of their Palestinian brothers. Then Syria going to come out with ISIS and all them. All these terrorists that y'all claim, right? And it's going to be the purge here in America. It's going to be a World War II and the Civil War. And people going to be running and being terrified, and missiles and bombs and grenades and RPGs and nuke bombs will hit America and the rest of the earth. What you see over there in Israel with Hamas and the Israeli people is coming to America. And understand this when we tell you this, and the severity of it, it's going to get bad. You have to prepare. We got to stop being weak-minded and being weak. We have to prepare our minds for war. That's why with this truth, we are aggressive with it. Because this is our lives. What you got to start doing is what? Get your mind and your life out of America and come join the real life. Come join the real living. You know what I'm saying? This tree right here, you're going to bear good fruit. But that tree over there in America, you're not bearing good fruit. It's rotten. And last time I checked, you wouldn't eat a rotten apple. Last time I checked, you wouldn't eat dog boo-boo. You wouldn't do those things. You wouldn't blatantly put that in your mouth and eat it and digest it. Well, that's everything in America. That's everything across the face of the earth. Because everything that they do is completely against God. It's doo-doo. It's nasty. It's disgusting, diabolical, and an abomination according to the Most High God. And what you got to realize is this. If you keep on with that path that you're doing some nasty, diabolical stuff against the Most High God, well, you got to get judged accordingly, thus saith the Lord. But to be honest with you, brother, We don't want you on the wrong end of the Lord. We're trying to get you on the right end. But if you insist on living in your lust, you have to learn the hard way. What our parents used to say, a hard head make a soft ass. You don't want to listen to the law, statutes, and commandments and keep them and keep the high holy days and listen to the priest of the Most High God that's telling you how to live life righteously and be really holy. Hey, you got to learn your lesson the hard way because you don't want to listen. You've been insubordinate. Like they used to say in school, you just don't want to listen. And with that being said, hey, you got to be taught a lesson. You got something to say, Shamarwan? All right, Most High in Christ. So now this next part is from the movie Purge. And I'm gonna break this down, right? In the movie Purge, somebody had quoted, her name is Charlie Rome. She was a presidential candidate, a senator, right? She was one of the higher ups. Now the higher ups above her was saying, take back the country, right? Now I'm gonna read this part. Now, of course, we already know that this is not a test. This is an emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Let me tell you something. That's here in America. Whether they say it or not. Whether they say it or not. It happens unanimously. Right? But it's going to come a day where they just say, it's right here. Right? Weapons of class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Let me tell you something. Even when they sanctioned the purge and they said weapons of class 4 and lower have been authorized, do you not know in every purge movie they had people that had other weapons that were higher than level class 4? Because on that day there's no rules. And if I can unalive somebody, I'm going to unalive them in the worst way. In the worst way, right? The next part. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including unaliving, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical service will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. You know what they said after that? This is what they said. Blessed be our new founding fathers in America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all. That's the spirit of America. They say that. When Kyle Rittenhouse was shooting people out there, man, they live by that quote. When George Zimmerman and all them other people that was unalive, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they live by that. They live by a nation reborn. They live by blessed be our new founding fathers in America. They live by may God be with you all in the midst of them unaliving you. That's the spirit of America. Let me tell you something, man. Right now, and when I was younger, this is the show I used to watch. It was a show called Doomsday Preppers. There's a show called Doomsday Preppers where it was people that were like they would call them conspiracy theorists or extreme, extremists. And he was pointing out they'll have people, men, women, or different people, different families in different states that had different scenarios on how they thought the world was going to end. One dude was teaching his daughters how to shoot the bow and arrow. And then one dude was teaching his son at like 3 years old how to shoot a gun. And he had a bunker underneath his house, all the way out in the woods. He had his whole house booby trapped. He had landmines. He had all types of stuff. What I'm telling you is that these people are preparing. Our oppressors are preparing. Go ahead, Shamarwan.
What you're saying is heavy, and I got a precept. Hold on, I want to share the screen though.
No sweat.
All right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of thy children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had no end. It's just heavy because what you're saying is so heavy because that is the spirit of America. The spirit of America is unaliving. It is to pillage. It is to rob. It is to steal. That's why they steal everything from us. They steal our lives. Okay, they stole our culture, they stole our heritage, you know, and they have this perpetual hatred for us. That's how shed the blood of the children of Israel. That goes into what you was talking about with Mike Brown, with Trayvon Martin, with Philando Castile. You know, they do this with the sword. Their sword now is that gun. And that's what they are doing to us because they have a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel. And that's why it's nothing but torment and damnation here for us. Okay? But that's it. Shalom.
If I could, because what you just said was heavy, can you give me Isaiah 59:7? Because I got a precept to that. What is this perpetual hatred that Shamarwan just brought out? And has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. Let's see what this perpetual hatred is that our oppressors are exalting, are showing.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 7. Their feet run to evil. And they make haste to shed innocent blood.
Stop right there. So that perpetual hatred that Shamarwan was just talking about in Ezekiel, their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. That's the perpetual hatred. And it says, by what? By the sword, to unalive the children of Israel. It just said it right here, to shed innocent blood. They make haste, meaning, oh, he isn't to go do it. He running to go do it. He's ecstatic about doing it. Keep reading.
Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity.
Stop right there. Stop right there real quick. Salakia, Shamarwan. Wait, so if their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, wait, because that's factual. Because how many times does a police officer say, I mistake my gun for my taser?
Damn.
Nah, bro, your thoughts is already sinful. You knew you wanted to unalive him when you pull him over for a traffic stop. You knew that. Don't act brand new. Everybody know the difference between a taser and a gun. I know the difference in the weight. I know the difference in the way it feel in my hand. I ain't even got to know it's a gun. I just know where it feel, the grooves, and the weight. I know that this is a firearm. But yet you use that same excuse. But like it says in the scriptures that our oppressors slay us and hold themselves not guilty, because that's biblical. That's what they do. Just like Shamarwan just said. That's the perpetual hatred that they have for us. Keep reading.
Wasting and destruction are in their paths.
Stop right there. Wasting and destruction are in their paths. Okay. So for one, Barack Obama was African. He wasn't black. So he's an oppressor. Two, Joe Biden's a Caucasian man. He's an oppressor. Kim Jong-un is South Korean or Asian. He's an oppressor. North Korean, right? You got the Hawaiians, you got the Middle Easterns and the Arabs. Let me just see. Okay, they all got pagan religions, pagan holidays. So that's waste and destruction in their path. Barack Obama was an oppressor and he legalized homosexuals to get married. So when you follow that path, you're going to go down a path of destruction. Everything that they do and sanction and say is against God. Wait. Okay, so now you don't have to be 18 to get tobacco products. You have to be 21. Still is against God. Okay, you can do that. Weed is legal. You can do that. Everything that they say that is right is not against God. And it's a path of destruction. Keep reading.
God. Verse 8. The way of peace they know not.
Right. The way of peace they know not. They don't know peace, Shamarwan. You know how I know? Because it's been plenty of times that we done fought in battles and done surrendered, and the so-called oppressors have still unalived us, and we outnumbered. That's factual. You know how I know they don't know peace? Because if he do pull me over for a traffic stop, why he gotta feel like that I'm going against his authority? So now he gotta exert his authority over me. Why can't we just hash it out and talk like men? Yeah, I am upset. Yeah, I do work 80 hours a week. I got somewhere to be in. You stopped me because I accidentally my blinker out. Now I gotta get out. You gotta search my car and do this and that, yada yada yada. Oh, would y'all legalize alternative lifestyles to get married? Y'all say that weed is legal. You have all these pagan religions and holidays. Y'all start war with everybody. That's what y'all do. Y'all tax it at a crazy rate. Y'all have interest at a crazy rate. I mean, throughout the entire land, there's nothing peaceful, especially the main culprit with Christopher Columbus. Oh, we already know about that little story that they came over and did to Native Indians, right? But in school, what they tell us, it was just a peaceful dinner. We came over here with the pilgrims, sat at the table. We had the little piggies running around and the monkeypox blankets over the Native Indians while they sat at the table, and we had Thanksgiving. That's what they tell us in school. Y'all didn't know peace. When y'all came over here, y'all brought what, smallpox? Y'all brought god doggone swine. Y'all brought them god doggone nasty Caucasian women over here. One with your nasty behind. What else? Oh, and y'all unalived all the Native Indians. And the ones that y'all had left, y'all made them go against the remaining. Y'all made them fight against each other. Then after that, you just go ahead, lock them up on a reservation, unalive all their buffalo. Don't use none of the meat, none of the fur, and then lock them down and held them captive in reservations to never see the rest of the earth ever again. Y'all don't know peace, man. Y'all broke over 500 treaties with the Native Indians. But y'all want to talk about we should all be kumbaya. We should love everybody. The hell, we not gonna love everybody. Because y'all didn't love Native Indians and y'all sure don't love Hispanics. Because y'all done built a god doggone border to separate Texas and Mexico. They got to get a green card just to come back into a land that was theirs. Go ahead.
So, like, and what you're saying on what happened to our Native Indian brothers and sisters is so heavy because, with the Pequot Nation, when they were telling the men to come out and they were clubbing or shooting them, and then the women and children that were in the log houses, they burned alive. And then the next day, they declared it a day of Thanksgiving because of the unaliving of 700 unarmed men and women. That's where Thanksgiving comes from, even though they tell us it's about the Pilgrims and the Indians, and they had this nice dinner. When that comes from their celebrations of unaliving us, everything that they have us celebrate is at the detriment of us. Salakia.
Now, and if I could read this next part, and there is no judgment in their goings. Read that next part, Baba Kasha.
And there is no judgments in their goings.
Salakia, if I could, what you just said was heavy. And you don't even realize it. What you just said was absolutely heavy. Why? They came over here and unallowed all them people. Did they get judged for that? No. Need to remind you, before Christopher Columbus came over here, he was a very bad individual in the land that he was already inhabiting.
Right.
They was calling him a rapist and a torturer and a tyrant. He didn't get judged for that. He just got sent away. That's it. It's two type of judgments. Judgment as far as what? Correction. And there's a judgment as far as what? You being unalive or something bad happening to you, like it says in the scriptures. And last time I checked, ain't none of that happened to Christopher Columbus. They made a day and sanctioned it and called it Thanksgiving because there's no judgment in their goings. And to this day, his counterparts, his ancestors, and his people get to benefit off that day of unaliving us. That's what you're failing to realize. Oh, 1 second, I get this charger real quick. I wanted to down me. Where we at?
I'm gonna continue reading. All right.
All right, no sweat.
Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace.
Let me grab this charger real quick. Give me.
All right. I'm while you grab the charger, I'm gonna get some precepts.
No sweat.
Real quick. So this is super heavy. First, I'm gonna get Zechariah 11:5. I believe that's it. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Our possessors slay us. You think these people are your friends. You think these people are the people you're supposed to join hand in hand with, arm in arm, and be one. but they are not, because when they unalive you, they do what? They hold themselves not guilty. All right. And what do they say? They say that they are rich. All right. They say that the Lord is with them, that the Lord is blessing them because they were able to conquer you. But we were only conquered because we didn't listen and adhere to what the Most High had to say. All right, and our shepherds pity us not. You don't see none of the prominent so-called pastors that they put out there. You don't see them coming for the flock ever. All right, they're about their own benefit. They're about their own gain. They're about their own ill will. All right, now I'm gonna get Isaiah, because it also Yahweh just said was heavy. He said because they haven't paid anything, and they always want to say, well, I didn't have nothing to do with that. They're benefiting off of what their ancestors did, but they continuously say that they had nothing to do with this, right? Well, that's why the Bible is perfect and it is excellent for our nation, because there is righteous judgment in there. And this is righteousness right here. Okay. This is what's righteous. What's righteous is the Lord setting the record straight, because they never paid for anything that they've done to us. They have been out here still to this day capitalizing for something that happened for what they have conquered many, many, many years ago. All right. And we are still in a lower state and in a lower position from what they did many, many years ago. All right. This is Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. See, that is important. And because, like also Yahweh just said, they haven't had no judgment on this. They've been getting away with it. They think they're going to get away with it scot-free, because they always want to tell you what? I wasn't alive during slavery. I wasn't here for Jim Crow. I wasn't here for segregation. I wasn't here for integration. And then you know what? Our kids are going to hear, well, I wasn't around for Trayvon Martin. I wasn't around for Mike Brown. You see, they just keep putting it on their forefathers while they continue to benefit from what their forefathers do. That's why the Bible says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, because you are the seed of your father. All right. And you do return. So your judgment, their judgment will come, just like our blessing will come. All right. Salakia.
No, Most High Christ, the water. What you're saying is absolutely right. And that leads me to my next point. If I could, give me Proverbs 3 and 5. Everything that Shamar want to say is absolutely correct, man. It's time that you start understanding that the things and atrocities and things that we went through, the trauma that we've experienced, we got to start separating away from that. You got to understand that there's a bigger picture. There's something far bigger than the own lust of your life. You go ahead and read that, Baba Bashar.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not on thy own understanding.
Right. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Meaning what? When the priests and prophets are telling you that World War III is coming, listen, because that's God speaking to you. God speaks through the prophets. That's what he's doing. And when we telling you that we ought to gather together, we ought to obey God, keep these laws, statutes, commandments. World War III is coming. War is coming to this place, and prepare, endure to the end, because you're not saved right now. You should trust in what we say, because that's the Lord speaking directly to you. You should trust what the scriptures say, because that's the Lord speaking to you. You should trust his judgment. Why? Because he knows everything. He knows everything that goes on. He knows everything that's about to happen and that did happen, because he is the Most High God. And you should trust in him. Yeah, you going through something. Yeah, you outnumbered. Yeah, you got this going on in your life. Yeah, you got this going on in your life. Trust in the Lord. Serve the Lord. That's where your faith needs to lie. You need to trust in the Lord how David did when he went up against Goliath. Because when he was over there and he seen Saul and all them people were scared of Goliath, their faith was running a little dry. They was a little scared. And David said, what? How this uncircumcised heathen, how dare he come and curse our God when our God is the only true living God on the face of the earth? And he went up there and slew Goliath. And all the men in the Philistine army fled. And he said, from this day, you're going to know that the Most High God is with the nation of Israel. Have that type of faith. Need I remind you, Goliath was like a 9-foot giant with a huge shield and armor plated up and a huge sword. He wasn't no little man. David went out there knowing that he had God on his side and defeated Goliath. That's the type of faith you need to have. That's what you need to do. Trust in the Lord and don't lean to your own understanding. We tell you World War III coming, you better listen because it's straight from the scriptures. It's straight from God. We tell you that another plague is coming, you better listen because it's straight from the scriptures and straight from God. This ain't just something we just making up. This is nothing that we making up. This is prophetic. This is biblical. That's what you have to understand. Give me verse 6.
Verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Right. So remember earlier, Shamarwan and myself, we was talking about what? The what's the word? Perpetual hatred. And then I brought up the precept Isaiah 59:7 and verse 8 with the paths that they create. Well, look, if you trust in the Lord and acknowledge him, he shall direct your paths. He shall make sure that this road that you're going down is a straight road and not some wide gate. Make sure that you focus. Make sure you're taking care of it and he look after you. But you got to serve him. And that's the least, that's the least that you owe. For crying out loud, for 30, 40, 50 years, you've been living your life. You've been living in sin. The Most High God could have been unalived you, but he kept you alive. Maybe because why? He had mercy that maybe that you might get it. Maybe you might get it from the priests and prophets of the Most High God to understand the life that you live in is not good. Maybe you'll start to realize that the same very place that you slaving and fighting for and showing honor for is a place that very well hates your guts. You think these people love you. You think this country loves you. You think all these other nations are your brothers and sisters, when in all actuality, they speak smooth words, but they have war in their heart and don't give a damn about serving God. Don't give a damn about your children. Don't give a damn about your wives or your grandma or grandpa, or you serving God or going to the high holy days. Hence is why when the high holy days come around, because high holy days aren't on the same days as these pagan holidays here in America, it's so hard for you to get your off days. Or you go do this, they got to make it some loophole for you to do this and this and that, and they're trying to put you on the verge of getting rid of you because they don't want you to serve God. They don't want you to know who you truly are. They don't want you to find your culture. That's why they do these things, to keep you further and further and further and further astray. Because why? They want to be in control so they can live another 250 years in this god doggone disgusting sinful kingdom. And let me tell you something. This right here is enough for me. I might not have been here no 250 years, but at least 24, 25 of them, this is enough for me. At least hearing about the 400 years of oppression my people went through is enough for me. Just like all the men and women here in the I.S.U.P.K. We tired. So that's why we took our spirit out of America so that way it can fall in demolition fast, and thus saith the Lord. Because that's how it's going to happen. We tired of seeing this place being glorified for all the wickedness they do. We tired of seeing this place just unalive people and go and take people's culture and then write patents on stuff and say that they started this and started that and they were the real reason this happened, etc., etc. And they're really God's chosen people. And we just Negroes and spicks on the street and ain't worth nothing. We tired of it. Because without Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the entire earth wouldn't be anything. Let me get what I want. Give me a couple more. Yeah, give me Matthew 7:13. Yeah, Matthew 7:13 is what I want.
This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat.
Right. Enter ye at the straight gate. The I.S.U.P.K is the straight gate. What are we trying to tell you? But not everybody wants to be on the straight gate. Right? For wide is the gate. The world is that wide gate. America is that wide gate. The rest of the society is that wide gate. And broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. You follow the ways of America, become an effeminate, alternative lifestyle man. Now you're living the rest of your life with AIDS and HIV, syphilis, and etc. Because you wanted to what? Follow that wide gate. And it says that leadeth to destruction. You don't even know that you making your grave early. Yeah, you wanna smoke the marijuana all your life, leading to destruction. Now you ain't gonna have no lungs because they black as midnight. Now you got a hole in your neck. You got to talk with that little robotic thing with them cigarette smokers got to use. Now your lung done collapse. You got one lung. Now you feel you shame because you're a woman, but you ain't as beautiful no more. Nobody desire you no more. Cause look all ugly now, all that smoking. Now you're like a crackhead with a hole in your neck. You sound bad, your hair falling out, you don't look good. Nobody wanna do nothing with you. Well, you followed that wide gate and led you to what? Destruction. That's what it led you to. Same with the cigarettes. Same with you want to be drug dealers and gangbangers. You do all these things and now you serving 30, 40 years of life. Or now you being unalived or one of your family members being unalived. You follow that wide gate, it's so much destruction. And once you start getting into one thing, you get into another. You get into another. You get into another. And it's all these things that you have went through and caused trauma in your life. And you don't realize that you never had to go through them things if you had just hearkened into the words of the Most High God. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Can I get verse 14, Baba Kashad?
Verse 14, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it.
Right, because straight is the gate. The I.S.U.P.K is that straight gate, and narrow is the way. Meaning it's going to be a very slim process. It's a very slim path. Not everybody. Christ don't want everybody. Not everybody is going to be able to endure to the end, to be holy, to be set apart, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Not everybody. Because not everybody wants to serve the Lord. And I understand. I understand. You're right. It's your life. You're right. You do what you want. You're right. I understand. But in that day, don't be on your knees trying to beg Christ for mercy when he got to come fulfill an order that the Most High God sent him on with them 200 million angels. Nah, stand on what you said. Stand on business. If you say you're an atheist, you don't believe in God, okay. You say you don't believe in God, okay. Say you don't believe in Christ, okay. You say Christ ain't black, okay. Stand on that in that day. You want to smoke weed and you say only God can judge me, and I bet you when Christ get back, I'll be eating bacon in front of his face. Stand on that. I remember Labusi said something about he'll eat bacon in front of God or something like that. Stand on that when Christ come back. Do it and see where it gets you. Because you wanted to follow that wide gate. Was the men in the I.S.U.P.K want all of our brothers and sisters to follow this narrow gate. But not everybody's going to be equipped, because not everybody wants to be holy. Not everybody wants to be righteous. But if you do, you got some feeling in your heart that you've been living wrong, you want to change, come into the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General YAHANNA. Because what does it say after this? And it says, which leadeth unto life. This is life. This is what living is all about. And few there be that find it. Few people find the truth. Few people come into the truth. Because few people want to live. And for the ones that don't, fire and brimstone. May the Lord have mercy on you. Wait, but if it be his will, he gonna do what he gonna have to do. But this is what leadeth to life. This right here, the truth of the Bible, where we edify blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians on who they are, consisting of 12 tribes and a nation of Israel, that you are God's chosen people, that we ought to obey God, we ought to be holy, that we have a chance to be righteous and be ye therefore perfect as our Father is in heaven, just like Job and Christ was and many other prophets. We have a chance. That's the whole reason why Christ died on the cross. So now we here in this life, we can try again on a fresh slate. Because once you come into the knowledge of these scriptures, ain't no more forgiveness of sins. As of right now, the guy looking at you was like, it's just, just a little slap off. He don't know. He don't know. He don't know. He have no understanding. But hey, in that day, the Most High God gonna have to show you something. He's gonna use Christ. And Christ gonna be what? A living example of what it means to follow God, and gonna show you what happens when you don't follow God. And if you think that he coming back to give what? Hugs and kisses? Well, you're mistaken, buddy, because in the scriptures he says, think not that I have come to send peace, but a sword. And just like Shamar once said earlier, that sword don't sound too good. Swords sound like guns. The swords sound like missiles and nuke bombs and IEDs and pipe bombs. You know what I'm saying? And mimes. That's what swords sound like. Which means that what? Not everybody's going to inherit the kingdom of heaven, because not everybody worked for the kingdom of heaven. The biggest thing that we teaching right here is what? To love more people than you love yourself, because that's what the Bible is all about. That's the biggest thing Christ taught, was brotherhood. To have brotherhood, you have to be selfless and not selfish. To have sisterhood, you have to be selfless and not selfish. What we telling you, it is time that we gather ourselves together and be selfless and not selfish anymore. Because being selfish is what is killing us. It's hurting the nation. It's hurting us as a people. And the reason why we can't get up at the top is because why? We don't trust one another, nor do we love one another. Stop unaliving your brothers and sisters and come together, because in that day, which is coming soon, because in the scriptures it says that Christ gonna come back like a thief in the night. I don't know when the hell he's gonna come back, but when he do, you're gonna wish that you was with your brothers and sisters, because them are the people that you're gonna need. Not them Asians eating them little dogs and them Africans eating them baboon heads. Nah, they're gonna do their little sacrifices and voodoo and do what they do and do all their little chants. And they're gonna be gone with the wind like Terminator 2 when that doggone nuke bomb hit. Gonna be unalive and burnt up. We're trying to tell you, if you want safety, join the I.S.U.P.K and Commanding General YAHANNA, because it is time. What Bruce Buffer be saying on the UFC when he announced people, it's time. You see the chills you get through your body when you hear that man announce somebody. Hey, it's time. It's time. You got anything else to say?
Yeah, Con, I want to pull a precept though.
Go ahead.
It's gonna be Isaiah 13 and 16.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, 13 and 6. Salakia. Because now people think that, we have been trained, through Christianity, to think when Christ comes back, it's going to be a lovely day. Every Christian believes Christ is coming back to kiss them on the lips personally and welcome them into heaven. Okay? Welcome them. Okay? This is Isaiah 13 and 6. Howl ye, For the day of the Lord is at hand, and it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. That's what the day of the Lord is going to be. We be thinking that it's going to be something nice, something so sweet. It's coming with bloodshed. It's coming with the unalivened. It's coming with us going up in the chariots, like it says in the scriptures. Okay, it's not going to be a pretty day. That's why this class is heavy, because the spirit that America has is that it could do anything to everybody. You can do anything you want, and you're good. You know, the biggest gangbanger getting alive, we put him in heaven. King Von in heaven right now, Yahaja. If you didn't know, yeah, King Von in heaven right now. Okay, that boy was a serial unaliver, and everybody who loves you, no matter what. Uncle Johnny, who you can't go back by that room, or something gonna happen to you. You know, when you were a kid. Oh yeah, he in heaven. Okay. So I mean, this is a super heavy class. That's all I gotta say, Shalakia.
If I could, I got a preset to what you just said. Can you give me Isaiah 26 and 20?
Oh yeah.
Let me go ahead and get Isaiah 26 and 20, because it's definitely a precept. He said, it shall come to pass as destruction from who? The Almighty? Go ahead and read that, Shimon, when you get a chance.
This is Isaiah 26, verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers.
Stop right there. Come, my people. Who he talking about? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. How do I know he talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the meek of the earth. And it says the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall be saved. The meek is the long suffering. Who has been a long suffering? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what chambers are? Chambers are chariots of the Most High God.
That's
you know
right.
how else I know that is? In the times of slavery, they had a song saying, swing low, oh chariot, come to take me home. We knew who we were, and we knew what was going to come and save us in that time. Keep reading.
And shut thy doors about thee.
And shut thy doors about thee. Close the doors of the chamber, of the chariot, of the UFO, as y'all call them. Enter into the UFO and close them doors. Keep reading.
Hide thyself as it was for a little moment.
Hide thyself as if it were for a little moment. Meaning go inside that UFO, as America call them, the world caller. IFOs and I.S.U.P.K, identified flying objects, or chariots of the Most High God, or the chambers, right? Hide yourself. Come and open these doors, get inside and hide. For what? Keep reading.
Until the indignation be overpassed.
Until the indignation be overpassed. Meaning what? Thus saith the Lord, you better pray you get lifted up in them chairs. Until the indignation, meaning what? The destruction that's coming to America. Just like Shamarma just brought in a precept, the destruction of the Almighty. This precept is to that, just saying, go up in here while the Almighty go and put the destruction down here on America. Go and hide in this chamber till this indignation be overpassed. Because I don't want you to be touched by it. That's what we're hoping for. And when it does happen, we're going to say, Barakatah Yahweh Wa Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
The Wada Aman. That's what we're going to say. Because we worked for that day to be saved. We endured to the end to get lifted up in them chariots. While the indignation is overpassed on America and destroying America because they did not want to listen and hearken unto God. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to pull a precept to this real quick.
Go ahead.
Well, let's take it to where it counts and where it matters. Right into Revelations, right? This is Revelations chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard, and you can break it down if you want. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
And it says, when they say ascended up into heaven in a cloud, it's talking about a chariot, man. It's literally talking about a chariot. Because another thing that you won't know, or if you haven't known, is that the chariots can cloak themselves as clouds. You
Right.
know, you be driving and you see like that shit like a UFO. It's a UFO. More than likely, it could be. Like I've seen a UFO in person, and I've seen it literally come out the sky like a portal opened. And motherfucker went across the sky, another portal opened and it closed. It was crazy. It's something I've never seen in my life. I'm like, bro, there's something wrong. So I started thinking, I said, there's something wrong with this earth. It's something gotta be wrong. It's some stuff we don't know. Some stuff we don't know. Then I started thinking, I'm like, golly, these people out here don't believe God is real. I just seen some stuff. It gotta be of God. That gotta be holy. That gotta be righteous. That vehicle. That right there is what we fighting to get beamed up on. Lord willing. Lord willing that we get beamed up on that, because destruction coming to this place. And we don't want to be here to be in it. Now we'd rather be safe for a little while, for a little moment. Let's open up the doors of these chambers. Let's open up, you know what I'm saying, the doors of this cloud and ascend to heaven. No, not no Christian way. How y'all think we just finna go all the way up past space and then go somewhere was all white? There's a whole staircase all the way up to heaven with God sitting on the throne with baby angels with bow and arrows. No, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the sky. That's what it's talking about. That's the heavens. That's the heaven. Right? Well, at least one of them. But that's another class. I want to break that down. But you got anything else, Shamar?
La la.
Well, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close the class out. I'm gonna get the security announcements. Feast
All
day.
right. We're the I.S.U.P.K. This I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K. started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister enters the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If you need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months where the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew. Mayashra, 10% of every penny or any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or the teacher. Priest fund, a free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations.
Upcoming holy convocation that we have coming up is the Feast of Purim, 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. Thursday, February 22nd, and Friday, February 23rd, which is in 2024, which can be found in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 through 31. And the book of Esther is in the Old Testament. Salaki, if you want to find it.
Aki and Menakwath, check the bulletin board. And if anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. We'll pass the class back over to Priest and Officer 500, Yahaja.
All right, Most High Christ. Oh, and one more thing. The book of Esther is after Job. I mean, before Job and after Nehemiah in the Old Testament. If you want to go ahead and look that up, to look at the Feast of Purim biblically in the scriptures. All right, we're gonna give a curse salute. So Majum. So we're gonna say the Lord's Prayer real quick. Say the Lord's Prayer real quick. All right. We're gonna say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. We'll face the east. So Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Kodai, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Marakwatha, Thabaa, Ratazai, Hayah, Asha, Baratazai, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathanalanawa, Lakam, Call Yawam, Wasalakinawa, Kabawatinawa, Kasalakinawa, Kabawatinawa, Wagaa, Thabaainawa, Vanasanawama Ball, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakar, Hamalakwat, Wahala, Wahata Parath, La Awala Lanyam, Arman, in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, that will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. All right, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatah. Yajim Matah. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Shem Yahweh Shah. With that, class is dismissed.